What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out Bahasa Drum channel. This is an amazing channel where you can get tons of great information, and more than anything, thank you guys so much for letting me be a part of it.
Is this your first time in Indonesia?
Definitely my first time in Southeast Asia, really. So I've been to China before, but never Indonesia, and so far it's just so first time in Indonesia, and so far it's just amazing. I mean, especially Jakarta, it's such a huge city. I can't even get over how big it is.
Yeah. So how's Indonesia treating you so far?
Amazing. Just like so far all the countries I've been to in Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Thailand, and now Indonesia, the people are so kind and so nice. So, I mean, the city is amazing, but cities, I've been to lots of cities. People to me are more important than the cities, and the people here are just incredible.
All right. So, being with Gretsch Drums for several years and already have part of Gretsch 135th World
Anniversary,
of course, right? How do you feel to be part of Gretsch Drums?
It's an honor. I mean, Gretsch has such a massive history, so yeah, it's almost intimidating to think about all the drummers that have been Gretsch artists in the past. So one thing that I love about being a Gretsch artist is you constantly feel like you have to improve and you have to live up to the history of the company. So yeah, it's amazing.
Well, one question, why Gretsch Drums?
That's a good question. Obviously, sound is a massive reason to pick any drum company. So the sound is super important to me. I love the warmth of the Gretsch drums, and especially the USA Customs have like a warmth of the 1940s and 50s, but they have a modern sound as well. So I love that, but I also love the artist roster. Like the current roster of Gretsch artists, Ash Sohn, Keith Carlock, Mark Juliana, they're some of my closest friends and some of my favorite drummers in the world. So I'm on the roster with the drummers that I'm fans of, you know.
So, you know, there are so many ways to be a drummer, right? And why do you choose to be a drum educator specifically?
It's simple. The only reason to choose anything in drumming is for your happiness. I tried studio drumming in LA. I toured for many years. I did local gigging, and I taught, and teaching brought me the most happiness. And even though I wasn't necessarily the best at it over the other things, I think if you choose what makes you happy, you'll eventually become great at it, because even when you're not doing so well or it's a struggle, it still makes you happy, so it gets you through the hard times. Putting on headphones in a studio didn't make me happy. Touring and playing to 20,000 people a night didn't make me happy, but teaching someone and watching them struggle, and then I unlock the door for them and they get it, and I'm in the room for that, that was like heaven for me. So I just knew that that's what I wanted to do.
So you've been to China, Taiwan, Bangkok, and now Indonesia. What do you think about drumming world in Asia specifically?
Well, I can tell you it's changed even in 3 years. So I was here 3 years ago in China. In China. And it's changed so much just in 3 years as far as and keep in mind when I say Asian, I'm only speaking of Chinese drummers because that's all I saw at the time. But they were very timid drummers, and they played perfect, but no personality. And then now I'm seeing them hit the drums harder, and there's a little bit of personality. And then when I went from China to Taiwan and Thailand and now Indonesia, that's where I see the real personality. You guys are individuals, and you look for something individual in your sound. So I will say this, the young drummers, the kids, look out. They're way better than American drummers. My God. They had kids opening up for me, and I was like, I'm not playing after that. That little 7-year-old girl just whooped my butt. So yeah, so I think we're in a good place. And the first time I came to China, I left and said, okay, that was fun, but I'm kind of done. I don't need to come back. And then on this trip, I really thought, you know what, I want to be a part of the educational system in Asia. I want to write books in different languages for Asian drummers, because I think really this is the future of drumming here.
Okay, so you're also known as Meinl Cymbals endorsee, right?
Yep.
And you have your own signature symbol. How did it start with Meinl?
That's a good question. I mean, it started actually with, do you know who Benny Greb is?
Yeah.
So Benny and I did a camp together about 9 years ago. And that was my first chance being exposed to Meinl Cymbals. We didn't carry them in my hometown, but because we did the camp together, I got to play on his cymbals. and I was jealous. I was like, man, your cymbals sound good. And so I played those, and then eventually I liked them so much I left the cymbal company I was with, moved to Meinl.
Yep.
And then through that, I just couldn't, I loved my hi-hats, loved my crashes, loved everything. I just couldn't find the ride that I loved. So I told them, and to Meinl's credit, they said, well, then let's make you the perfect ride. And we just started, and I was like, me? I'm a drum teacher. Why would you even care about me? And they did care. And so we started working on prototyping a ride cymbal until we got to the transition ride. But it's been an amazing relationship.
Well, how's the concept behind the transition ride?
It was simple. I just wanted to be able to have less cymbals on my kit. So I wanted to have a ride cymbal that I could play as a ride, or I could crash on it. And I found that at the time in Meinl's lineup, there were only rides and crashes, but I couldn't do both. And I knew if I could get like a cymbal that did a little bit of both and had a good bell, then I could even play just hi-hats and ride and be just fine, because it was so versatile. So that's how it all started. We tried it in a 20. It sounded too much like a crash. We tried it in a 22, and it was just too overwhelming, too loud. And then we eventually tried a 21, and that's where we kind of landed. And then we made the lathing on the bottom really fine. So it's really fine lathing, it stops at the bell, and that gives it the sound that it has.
Okay. So, you've been this far, right? Do you have any specific goals in drumming that you haven't achieved yet?
I don't know if I have any goals in drumming, because in drumming, I think we always, I don't want to say hate ourselves, but we always think that we suck. So my goal today is not to suck. So yeah, so in drumming, I'm just trying to get better every day, but drumming teaches you patience, because you're always struggling. I think my biggest goal is just to have a larger impact on the education of other drummers. My goal for me is that other drummers achieve their dreams and say, hey, it's because you influenced me to stick with it. Because I don't even think I need to teach them the drumming part, because there's so much great educational content out there. I need to teach them the mental part about sticking with your passion and not giving up on yourself.
Okay, so last but not least, do you have any advice for aspiring drummers?
I think to stay off of Instagram is good.
Really?
Well, it's just so intimidating. Every person you see is the greatest and so good, and so you just keep getting, you feel worse and worse. Like, I don't follow any drummers that aren't my close friends, because I just don't want to be, I don't want that feeling of like, oh, I'm not as good as him, I'm not as good as her, not as good as him. So I follow other things that are inspirational. Like you and I were talking about cameras earlier. I follow a lot of cinematographers, a lot of photographers, and that stuff inspires me to go play the drums. So when I see other people achieve greatness in something outside of drumming, instead of it intimidating me, it makes me excited. And I think, oh, what that guy or that girl just did with their camera, I'm gonna go try to do that with my drum set.
Okay, so that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thanks for having me. See you guys soon.